So from two very special personalities to many, many more special personalities, we'd now like to humbly request His Grace Akhandadi Prabhu and His Grace Kripamoya Prabhu to come and address all of us.
Now I know I came in here for something.
Can we please welcome them with three very loud Haribols? Haribol! Haribol! Haribol!
Thank you very much. What a wonderful evening. And I get to sit in a proper chair as well. They say that there's two symptoms of getting old. One of them is you start losing your memory, and the second one is can't remember. This week I'm interested in books. So this week I was at the London Book Fair, and I met a guy called Charles Harkis, who you may not have heard of. But he's the managing director of a company called Bloomsbury Books, which you may not have heard of. And he happens to play cricket with an old friend of mine called Amita, who's in publishing. So they have a publisher's cricket team. They get together and, well, you know them, cricket. His life is interesting because if you haven't heard of him or his company, it was a struggling company until he took a big risk. And the big risk for him was to take on an author who no one had heard of, who had written a book about a little boy that does magic. And his name just happened to be Harry Potter. So he took that risk, and it was a big risk because they had to invest a lot of money in 1996. But the rest is history. And now he's doing very well for himself, and everybody in the chain is doing very well. Srila Prabhupada took a big risk coming to America, coming to London. Didn't have very much money at all. And but he took that big risk, and because of Prabhupada taking that risk, we are here. But that doesn't mean that Prabhupada is the only person that's taken the risk. You're also taking a risk. Everything that you hear may not be true. May not be true. Krishna consciousness may not be true. You take a risk every day. But when you take that risk, God responds. And that's the wonderful thing. The more you say, all right, I'm going to take the next risk. What's the next risk? What have I got to lose? Am I prepared to lose it in order to attain Krishna consciousness? And then Krishna takes another step to you. You get internal confirmation. You get what my local vicar calls blessed assurance, the blessed assurance within that you're on the right track. So it's really all about taking a risk. When I was a young kid, I went to Sunday school, and we went on Sunday school outings. And sometimes the Sunday school used to provide holidays, and we went to the beach. But even when you got to the beach, you couldn't really, it was a bit like saying a getaway, really. You couldn't really enjoy yourself that much because you have the God stuff to do. So at the age of 10, our Sunday school teacher had us line up 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, singing songs and going on a big snake through the campsite. And I will always remember that because that's the first time that anyone has ever thrown anything at me. I had forks, I had spoons, I had, we're only kids, but so it was very good training for Krishna consciousness, because at the age of 17, when I came to Krishna consciousness, I was given a drum, and we were on Portobello Road, and it was my very first kirtan, and then people started throwing things. It was the 70s, that's the way they showed their appreciation. when in this room, actually, in this room, Prabhupada asked all of us to take a risk. I was only 18. Prabhupada was sitting right there, right where he is now. And he had just given class about how life is very short. And he said that we have had many, many lives. And this is just one more life. And then he said, one more very short life. And he finished his lecture by looking at each of us in the eyeball-to-eyeball way that he sometimes did. And he said, so you just give this one very short life to Krishna. You've had so many. After this life, you will have so many more. Do not worry. There is plenty of life that you have had and plenty of life in the future. But this one, give this one to Krishna and see what happens. So something happened. And I said, okay, life is very short. I've got this one. Yeah, I'm 18. Life is very short. It'll all be over soon. I'll give this life to Krishna. So the reason I'm still sitting here is because I think that as I've taken those risks, and as our swamis and gurus were also asking you to please take that risk, there's something whatever you invest is immediately reciprocated by the Lord. So Prabhupada asked for that, and Prabhupada asked for a lot. We don't ask you now for as much as Prabhupada asked. Prabhupada asked for a lot because he was starting his movement. But really, we're still starting the movement. We, apart from Birmingham and Manchester and a few temples along the way, up the M1, really you could say that Krishna consciousness is really bunched up in London. It's really like a blood clot. And as the doctor back here will tell us, blood clots are not very good things. So in the body of the United Kingdom, the body of ISKCON United Kingdom, we're all bunched up in London. And it would be very good if one or two of you could take that risk and become missionaries and take it out. Because as Dina Krishna really inspired me by reminding me that my time is short on this earth. Thank you, Dina, that was great. But congratulations. A few years ago, we received a pen and a mug from a souvenir company. And it said, congratulations for reaching your 25th anniversary at Bhaktivedanta Manor. It said, 85% of institutions, companies, and organizations do not make it to their 25th anniversary. So congratulations for that. And buy 1,000 of our mugs for your congregation. But the point is that statistic is quite interesting, because if you've reached your 20th anniversary, it means you're doing something right. If you're growing, it means that you're healthy. If people are coming back for more, you see, it means that you're doing something really well. See, because sometimes here in the temple, we're going for 40 years, but all the faces change. But with Pandava Sena, you still have the same faces. And that's a very good sign that you're doing something well. Now, you know my kids, Mali and Janavi and Tulsi. They've grown up through the Pandava Sena years, and their lives, I know, have been considerably enriched. Because Pandava Sena has given them an opportunity to see a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation, from the posters, from the leaflets, from the theater, from the videos, to the debates, to the, what to speak of, burning Ravanas and the festivals and the tents at Janmashtami and all the incredible stuff that you do. Or what to speak of all the antics you get up to, like spraying shaving cream on each other during the getaways. I mean, to take 150 young people to another country to have a good time, to come back Krishna conscious, I couldn't do that. So whoever's organized that, thank you very much. That's great. But this is the something that Nitai Kirtan said. Where's Nitai Kirtan? Did he go? He's outside, okay. Nitai Kirtan said that he always remembered what Dina Krishna said to him as he was untying the cables. And it's very interesting, isn't it? That how many years ago was that? 17 years ago? 17 years ago, he can still remember that night when you were untying the cables. And that's what it means to be young. these incidents stay in your memory forever. So the experiences that you're having now as young people, these are the most important Krishna conscious experiences. These are the most important divine memories that you will have. These are the most important days of your life because you'll always remember these times. So this is where you get your juice for the rest of life. You'll always be looking back on these as your golden years. It's very, very important. I can remember stories I heard in Sunday school years and years and years and years ago, 40 years ago, 48 years ago. So really, whatever you learn now will stay with you for life. So I'll do a Shivaram Swami now. So please learn. Please learn as much as possible because now is the time for learning. Please sacrifice as much as possible because now is the time for yajna, for sacrifice. And please set your goals as far ahead in the distance as you can because this is the time when Krishna really reciprocates and really pulls you through this short life. And again, you get the opportunity to become Krishna conscious. That is what the Pandava Sena means to me. Precious opportunities. Thank you very much. I love you all. I respect you all. May God bless you in the next 20 years.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Kripamoya Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Brilliant being back in the association of the most ecstatic bunch of young people on the planet. Hare Krishna. Does us the world of good. This is real rejuvenation for the oldies like myself. I remember back in the 1970s, there was a very strong feeling amongst the devotees, which they got from many of the senior members of the Hindu community who they'd been meeting and talking with, but it really was very prevalent as a kind of attitude amongst ISKCON that the next generation of Hindu youth would have no interest whatsoever in Krishna consciousness in their own religion. I was just starting to work on the Life Membership Program, and I was picking up a different kind of mood from the kids. And I remember when we were preparing for Prabhupada coming here in 1976, I got a whole bunch of essays and pictures and things that had been done by some young kids and some teenagers. And we made a big, big display on different boards, and I put them all over the landing upstairs. Now, I didn't get to speak to Prabhupada during that time, but I put them all there because I hoped that Prabhupada would see them and would perhaps bless that all the young folk from the Hindu community could actually appreciate Krishna consciousness. And he would bless us to make some effort to try and give that encouragement. And it was only a couple of years later that we actually got to start the Mahabharat youth clubs, the infamous youth clubs, which, you see, that's where Shivaram Maharaj gets the idea from. Because we ran those programs and we reaped so many full-time devotees and even a sannyasi out of it. So Shivaram Maharaj thinks it can be done, you say. We also kind of ran the Mahabharat summer camps. And I occasionally bump into young people, or now older people, who went through the experience of the Mahabharat summer camp. And it's fair to say that, you know, some of them have recovered properly and have gone on to live a normal life. Then after that, we had programs in the universities. We had the Vedic variety show, Shruti Dharm doing his his bit in the fish play, and they went on to be cooking clubs in the universities, and then we trundled through the 80s doing all these programs. We even managed to keep the youth clubs going through good part of the 80s up in Leicester and Birmingham, thanks to Sakuras. But it kind of did lose a little momentum. And then of course when we had the Manor Youth Forum here, and that we had some great programs. I remember really enjoying those kind of events we had. But the Pandava Sena was different. Is different. Yes, Pradyumna is correct. It came out of an emergency. You know, a few of you thinking, those guys upstairs, you know, they chat away, they talk away, but they ain't doing nothing. They're not doing enough to make this campaign happen. So when we got the chance just to kind of would I give blessing to a bunch of young people who want to, you know, get active, protest, and agitate? Yes, you bet. That was one of my favorite ones. Was the kirtans on the on the village green. I thought that was just great, you know. And I got to talk to the villagers and say, well, what can you do? You know, if you're not going to let them in, you know, they're naturally going to go out there. That's just what they're going to do. They're going to chant there, you know. I'd love to intervene, but they're independent. And actually I think this has been one of the great strengths of the Pandava Sena. You were created as sort of semi-independent. As was said, you know, you're a mission within a mission. Yes, you were well overseen by Pradyumna and, you know, well cared for. And we trusted your founding fathers. We trusted you. But we did give you a lot of freedom. And I personally think that initiative, it was, you know, that was a good decision. That was really the only input I had was, yeah, give them their own initiative, let them get on with it. But you guys did it yourselves. You organized yourselves, you came up with your own ideas, and it's been fantastic. And it's actually a great model for ISKCON preaching. You know, I sometimes have worried in the last 20 years, if you had come to ISKCON management and said, we want to have a youth program where we do everything ourselves, we organize and we'll set the agenda, we'll do it all ourselves, would you have got consent? I wonder. But you got the consent because it grew out of the campaign, and it has proved highly, highly effective. And I just think it's such a great model for other ISKCON preaching initiatives. Create more of these mission within mission, the mission of Krishna consciousness. Give those who can be trusted, and you can be trusted, because you have Srila Prabhupada in your heart. You've got it. You know what this movement is about. Therefore, we can trust you just to get on with it and make a success of it. It's been fantastic for me to host the mentorship retreats at Buckland Hall, because you know, for me, it's the highlight of my year. It's the best association. I'll be telling that to the Manor volunteers next week as well. But it's not true. The Pandava Sena is the real one. That's what I'll tell them next week. But what I see is that you've got the lot. You've got the complete package. You've got kirtan. You understand the value of the holy name. You understand the importance of chanting it congregationally, of chanting it personally in japa. You understand association amongst yourselves and association with senior devotees. You understand the importance of our philosophy, studying it deeply, discussing it, debating it. And not only that, but taking it as a way of enriching our lives and developing our character, our attitude, our consciousness. And you preach. This is the full package of Krishna consciousness. I'm a real kind of feeling about Prabhupada's, what I would consider his 3-step approach to spreading Krishna consciousness all over the planet. Prabhupada did not think small. He wanted everyone to become Krishna conscious. He wanted the people of India to help him come to the West and preach to convert others. He wanted his godbrothers' organization, the Gaudiya Math, to provide help, support, funds, brahmacharis to do this. He got nothing. He didn't get the support. That would have been route one. India behind Prabhupada, preaching all over the world. So Prabhupada had to do a three-step program. He came to the West and he gathered young Westerners. Then brought them back to India and fired up India, ready to take on the broader preaching. The purpose wasn't just to get India, behind Krishna consciousness. The purpose is to get the India behind the Krishna consciousness movement to spread Krishna consciousness everywhere. And in a way, Britain has been a microcosm of that. Britain came here. He got a few Western devotees he sent from America. He gathered a few more here. And he got us to preach, to bring Krishna consciousness to the Hindu community of London and Leicester and Birmingham and Manchester and Bolton. And to gather you to him. But now that you are in the family of Srila Prabhupada, step 2 is working. Now it's step 3. Now you have to get behind Srila Prabhupada and make sure you spread Krishna consciousness beyond your communities. We actually have to bring in the whole of this country to the service of Srila Prabhupada. It can be done. You guys are the best organized, the most enthusiastic. Please take up this call for preaching Krishna consciousness. Make it your life's mission in whatever way you can. Let's all together help. And even when you get a little bit long in the tooth for Pandava Sena, which the cutoff point, what is 25? Keep going. You're not off the hook at 25. That's all the training and kind of getting experience. But then we want you to kind of preach with full kind of enthusiasm for the rest of your life. So again, I just have to say thank you very much for all your association, the inspiration that we get from always kind of seeing the Pandava Sena programs, and we look forward to the next 20 years of enhanced preaching. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Kripamoya Prabhu ki! His Grace Akhandadi Prabhu ki! That was amazing and extremely profound for all of us. I'm sure all of us take great confidence and great faith knowing that we have your trust and blessings. I think giving anyone your trust is a very deep thing, and to feel trusted by both of you means a lot for all of us. So we're genuinely extremely touched and grateful to have that trust. So thank you so much for reassuring us. Thank you so much.